Opus.
my whatever that Transformer guy is. I'm sitting there with this bro on this porch, this house, and I'm like, I can't top it, man. This is it. This is my best. I won't ever be able to top this. It's quite funny and naive and immature to think such a thing. But when I started singing songs, I thought, man, if I'm this popular just talking, can you imagine when I start singing? It's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be Madison Square Garden. I mean, I actually thought this stuff, right? Totally. I was like, I'm going to be massive when I start singing. Didn't really expect people to be like, stop singing. Okay? Stop it. Go back to talking. So I'm like, WTF, bro? What poet has ever sold out Madison Square Garden? None of them. How many singers have? Tons. They do it. And it was ugly, man. It was ugly. That's when things just went south. And I'm like, I'm going to sing because I want to sing, and I've got a song to sing. And I remember reasoning at one point, after I remember one night we sang Samuel at this venue in Minnesota, and it was a church, and the youth pastor was cleaning up, sweeping the floor, and I remember him sweeping, and I remember him saying, man, you are a more effective minister of the gospel when you are talking and not singing. And I remember being, I was blown away, and I was like, dude, get behind me, Satan. Literally, that's how I reasoned where I was going, what I was doing. I understood at the moment that people didn't understand, but I also knew that I was going somewhere. And I knew that people didn't understand it, but I was still going somewhere. In the way that Jesus knew the people. I'm not saying I'm like Jesus, and I'm not being that ridiculous. I'm saying that I felt I had been given songs and I was going to sing until I felt like I needed to speak. Okay? So I was like, F it, dude, I'm singing. Like, and I never played there again, right? I mean, I never went back. And because I had a song to sing, and I was singing, and it didn't matter to me that people were telling me to stop singing because I didn't sing very well. And I'm like, well, of course I don't sing very well. But what does that matter? You can't sing all the time. So it was really interesting for me to kind of deal with that backlash. So 2009, 2010 is where I remember making a mouthful of dust with expectations of thinking, we spent 9 days there, and we just thought, all right, it's a more appropriate blending of what I was doing with song, right? So it was, So Do I Love You was cute and fun, but there was still something awkward about this poet with no melody trying to sing songs. So I felt like this album was the bringing of it together, and that wasn't it at all. I think that was it. People just didn't respond. And what's that?
I'm confused.
You're confused or them? Which part are you confused about?
Story.
Okay, how can I help you clarify which part?
Well, go ahead and finish the story, and maybe you will.
Okay, well, I don't know that it is. I'm just, a little remedy trails. I guess it's just another self-centered story about how I was doing wrong and people didn't want me to, and it's probably
That makes sense.
I'm also trying to do it chronologically. One way I've dealt with the defame or the rejection is just kind of joke about it, but keep on moving. There's nothing else you can do. I didn't want to cry about it, so I just made some jokes about it. Does it make you feel like worse for me now, or do you?
I'm thoroughly entertained.
So
are you a songwriter or a singer? Or are you what
I'm
are
an
you?
artiste.
Artiste.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm an artiste. But so with a mouthful of dust, expectations, and what happens when you have these expectations? It's just not gonna work. We did this tour as a full band, and we never toured again. I mean, it was disaster. I went out with this internet sensation. This guy was making bank on the internet, and live, no one came to see us. Next thing you know, I'm playing bowling alley, where we're at the end where the pins, you know what I'm saying?
We're talking through his knee out back on that old Chariot tour. And you kept
that was
begging?
a skating rink. Yeah, give me that skating rink before you gave me this duck pin bowling in Richmond, Virginia, where the shopping center, I'm not kidding, everything started with the word G. G clothes, G shoes, duck pin bowling. I mean, we were ghetto, right? The night before that, we played this show in nowhere, North Carolina. There wasn't even cell phone reception. There was no stoplight. There were 5 out-of-town bands, and the show started at like 11 p.m. We roll up, and I'm like, this is not good. This is not good. And I remember asking the lady if we could have a drink of water. And she's like, oh sure, let me just wash a cup for you real fast. They were red Solo cups that were used the night before. And I was like, I'm not drinking out of a washed red Solo cup, lady. So out in the band, I remember one of the bands telling my drummer, well, it looks like we're just going to have to play for merch tonight. And we're like, dude, are you going to buy our merch? No one's coming. No one's coming here. Like, are you crazy? I said, here's what's going to happen. We're going to have a couple people show up, and they're going to have driven 5 hours, and I'm going to play a show for them outside on the sidewalk, and we're going to get the heck out of here. Exactly 2 people showed up who drove 5 hours, and it's me and them sitting on the sidewalk. I play for them, and we go have dinner at a diner, and my bass player stops up the toilet, and he's like, we got to get out of here now. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And I scolded him like a father, because I saw what he did. I saw what he did. And I was like, you call yourself a Bible-believing Christian, okay? I said, watch this little 15-year-old girl wearing the poodle skirt go in there and have to clean this. Sure enough, we all watched her walk in there, and I was like, you are a jerk. Don't post any of these stories. All right, this is just for us. And I remember, I'll never forget him. He's got dreads. He wore the same pants every day. He was funky. He was just like sitting there, and I'm standing at the door of Van Halen being like, dude, this is ridiculous. You're going to make that little girl clean that thing that's sticking out of the toilet. And he's just like, okay. So that was the worst story of our life. So then we end up duck bowling in Virginia. The next night, we're playing outside of Newport News, Virginia, which is just an old army base outside of Newport News. The venue's called Buddha's Place. I'm hemorrhaging money. I didn't tell you about the drive from Houston, Texas to Orlando, Florida, where the venue wasn't even a real venue.